Hello friends, it is Stasia and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be doing a very fun tag. It is the mid-year freakout tag. I'm also going to check in with you guys on my goals. So the books mentioned will be everything I read from January to June. So filming it a bit later in July so that I can include all of my books from June. So in reference to my yearly goals, I put out 8 goals, but I'm only gonna go over 5 because the other ones were to do with like social media and stuff like that. So anyways, the first goal that I set for myself was to read 100 books, and so far I'm actually ahead of schedule. I have so far read 60 books this year between January to June, so not bad. Averaging about 10 books a month seems about right. The next goal I had was to read and vlog every single one of the Mending Book Heart picks, and so far I have done that. Here are all of the Mending Book Hearts picks. There's quite a lot. So here they all are. They're all tabbed and annotated. So I will leave that playlist down below if you want to watch any or all of them. The next goal I had was to get my physical TBR under 100 books, and I'm not doing so well, if we're being honest. I started at 182, and at the end of June I'm currently at 186. I think the problem is I'm just reading on my Kindle, which was my problem last year. So it's fine. I'm hoping that one of these months I can dedicate that month to reading physical books that I own, because it's kind of a struggle right now. I'm not reading physical books, and the physical books that I am reading are books that I'm getting this year, if that makes sense. So they're not really like helping with that number. Like, I'll buy the books for book club and then I'll read it physically, but because I just bought it, it doesn't really do anything for the number of books that I own. So it's fine. We're fine. It's okay. The next goal is to buy no more than 30 books, which every time I mention it, people think that I'm insane. But you know what? It's fine. I am on track. I've only bought 15 books, which is perfect. I'm halfway through the year, halfway through that set number. And to mention, of those 15 books, 8 of them were for the book club. So they were books that I kind of had to buy if I wanted to continue with like the tabbing and the annotating that I've been doing for book club books. So I'm doing good on my buying. And then the last goal that I wanted to touch base on is my 12 and 12 challenge. I have that video. I'll put it above and below if you want to watch it. Basically, 12 friends chose 12 books off my physical TBR. I sent pictures, and then I'm supposed to read those 12 books. I'm doing horribly. I've only read 3 so far this year, so not doing great. I'm hoping that maybe I can do like a 12 and 12 catch-up vlog where I basically catch up, maybe read like 3 of my 12 and 12 picks, and that'll kind of catch me back up to speed. But as of now, I've only read 3 out of the 12, so I'm not doing so well on that, but it's fine. We're trying. So that is it for my goals check-in. Now we're gonna go ahead and do the book tag. There are quite a few different versions of the tag. I personally am going to follow Kayla from Books and Lala. I'm going to go with her tag. She has 17 questions, but I'm not sure if I'll do the last 2. It's more of like self-reflection sort of vibes. But yeah, so first of all, the first question is, how's your reading going? I think my reading is going great. I've been loving most of the books I'm reading, and obviously I'm doing great with my number goal, with how much I'm reading. I feel like I'm reading less because I've only read 60 books, and so that average is about 10 a month. But in reality, I think I'm doing okay. And like I said, I'm enjoying most of my reads. Super excited with like the book club that is just, you know, still running. We're still picking books for that. And yeah, so far my reading year has been going great. Very excited for the second half of the year and what's to come from that. The next question is the best book you've read so far. I'm going to try my best to not repeat answers. So for this, I'm going to use Under the Stars by Laura Pavlov. I absolutely love this book and I love this author. So yes, I will mention in this, I'm just going to kind of answer the questions. I'm not going to go too deep into synopsis because every single book that I mention is going to be in a wrap-up somewhere. So if you cared about my thoughts, you can search for a wrap-up, or they're also on my Goodreads and Storygraph about my further thoughts. But I'm just gonna answer the questions pretty quickly. So the third question is the best sequel you've read so far, and I've kind of read the entire series this year, so I'm not sure if it really counts, but it's fine. And I'm gonna go with Sinner by Sierra Simone. This is the second book after Priest, and I loved this book. This book was just honestly so good, and I still really love this book. So yeah, this is the best sequel that I've read so far. Not that I think I've read a lot of sequels to begin with, but definitely Sinner was a standout. Next question is favorite reread. I don't think I've reread any books this year, so question doesn't really count. Next is genre you've been loving / reading the most. This will come to no surprise, but definitely romance. I believe like over 50% of my reads have been romance. I've been throwing some thrillers in here or there, but romance is definitely what I'm reading, what I'm loving, what I'm just hooked on. I'm hoping my thriller era will come back sooner or later, but as of right now, I'm just deep into romance. So that's where I'm at right now. The next one is new release you haven't read yet, but want to. And for that, I'm going to go with a book I literally just got, and that is The Only One Left by Riley Sager. Love Riley Sager, super excited for this one. I've been seeing this one get amazing reviews, so I'm super excited. I'm hopefully doing a vlog on this one. I wish I could tell you what it's about, but I actually have no idea. But this just came out like a few weeks ago, and I'm super excited to read it. Next would be biggest disappointment, and it's not that I hated this book, I was just disappointed based on like my love for the author's other books, and that was Happenstance by Tessa Bailey. I believe I only gave this like 3 stars, but her other books I've given like 4 or 5 stars. So this was a bit of a disappointment. I was really excited for the whole reverse harem situation when I seen that she came out with this, but it just didn't hit for me. More of a why choose than a reverse harem, like the guys don't know each other, and nothing really stood out about the main character for me. So unfortunately, this was probably my biggest disappointment so far this year, but I still love Tessa Bailey, and it wasn't a bad book. I still gave it like 3 stars. Next is new favorite author. I've only read 1 book from this author, but I'm very quickly wanting to get through her backlist, and I'm gonna go with Candy Steiner. She writes sports romance. When I'm filming this, I've already read my 2nd book from her, but in June I haven't yet. But so far, she's been a standout. I love the way that she writes her characters and her sports. So far, she's a new favorite author. Definitely want to get through her backlist and see, you know, what else she has going, because I believe this series is a very popular series, so I would be interested to like read more of the series that no one really talks about as much. The next question is the biggest surprise, and for that I'm gonna say Not a Happy Family by Sherry Lapina, mainly because, like I said, I'm mainly reading romance, so the fact that I flew through this thriller and absolutely loved it definitely surprised me. I just felt like I wouldn't have been like super surprised or super engaged in a thriller at the moment, but when I picked this up, it was like the perfect time to pick it up, and I really loved it, and I was surprised because I haven't read from this author either, so I didn't know if I was going to love it. So my biggest surprise would be Not a Happy Family. Next is a book that made you cry. Earlier I mentioned Under the Stars as the best book I've read so far, and that book made me cry, but since we're not doing repeats, the other book that made me cry this year was A Thousand Boy Kisses by Tilly Cole. I didn't like sob, but I was definitely like crying as much as I usually cry when a book is sad. But this book absolutely broke me. I have a vlog where this book is featured, and I don't know what I was expecting because Rylan told me that it was sad. She cried even after rereading, so I knew it was sad, but I still did not expect it. So this book definitely made me cry. If you've not read it yet, I loved it. So I will definitely recommend this from the rooftops. Next, we have a book that made you happy, and I don't have this physically, but it is the novella Killjoy by Holly Jackson. This is the prequel to the Good Girls Guide to Murder series, and I read that series like a while ago, really loved it. So it made me really happy to be back with these characters. When I read this novella, it was also a super quick read, so that's always a win. So I really enjoyed it. I missed the characters, so it was nice to have like a little sneak peek at them, even if it was set before the Good Girls Guide to Murder series. I still really loved it, and it made me happy to see them. And the last question that I'm gonna answer, I skipped a couple just because that's just what I want to do. But the last question I'm going to answer is a book you need to read by the end of the year. And I'm gonna go easy with that. I'm gonna say Love Theoretically by Ali Hazelwood. I am going to read it by the end of the year because this is the September pick for the Mending Hearts book club. But I'm a bit nervous. I also can say Love on the Brain because that is Ali Hazelwood's second book and I haven't read that one yet, but definitely Love Theoretically, and I'm really looking forward to it. I really loved her first book, The Love Hypothesis, so hopefully I will read them soon. All right, that is all of the questions in the mid-year freakout book tag, as well as my 2023 reading goals check-in. But that is all from me. If you feel like answering any of these questions, go ahead down below. I will link all the videos I mentioned. I mentioned quite a few vlogs. I'll leave all of that below. Some of them will be in the cards above. I will also tag Kayla, Books and Lalas. I'll leave her original video down below if you want to see the questions that I just didn't answer, because she does answer a few more. But yeah, so that's the book tag, that's the update, and that is it from me. So you can like, comment, and subscribe down below if you'd like. All of my socials, follow me, and everywhere else are in the description as always. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.